We are here with Mr. Greg Chigas.
Hello.
Hello. Greg was a direct lender for quite a while, then came over to the broker channel or broker world. How long ago?
5 years now?
About 5 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And does a phenomenal job, great LO, and a great human being.
Thank you, Josh.
Absolutely.
Appreciate that.
So, first couple questions. When you were a direct lender, what were some of the things you were being told by management, being told by, whoever, of why you should not go to the broker side?
Probably a big part of that was from a support level. Had nothing to do with interest rates or anything like that, or being able to get a loan closed. It was really more, we have a support structure here for you. We have a processor pool here for you.
Yep.
On difficult loans, if you need help, we have 100 years of experience of people here working.
Right.
So it's really more of a support on being able to get a deal done.
Right.
Than probably anything else.
And that they're saying that if you went to the broker side, you would not have that support.
That I would struggle. I wouldn't know who to go with or who to go to get answers.
Yep.
Where I had people right there in the office to get answers from.
Yep.
And just you would close less loans because you didn't know the opportunities were there to win them.
Yeah. Got it. And then how long did it take for you? Well, number one, was that your experience when you came to the broker world?
So I would say the most nerve-wracking thing for me to make the change was that.
Yeah.
I had somebody in the office I could go to and get an answer.
Yep.
And I was like, I'm going to go to the broker world. Who do I go to?
Right.
And, you did a great job telling me, well, that's what AEs are there for.
Yeah.
Right? And we have 80 of them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So once you got over to the broker world and realized you built some relationships with some account managers at these lenders, you get those answers actually faster.
Yeah. With that, and obviously there's a ramp up. I mean, there's a ramp up if you're going from direct lender to direct lender, right? Going from credit union to big box bank. There's always going to be a ramp up. How long did it take for you to feel comfortable where you knew you were getting the answers you needed right away or as quickly as possible?
I would say learning the broker world along with that piece of it, probably 6 months.
Yeah.
And then of course, I had you here, I had Taylor here, I had Riley here.
Yep.
I had Andrea, I had Marissa. So I had a support team here that I could go to. But to really feel comfortable and to be able to go outside of the office to these AEs, probably 6 months.
Yeah. I think
really figured it out.
100%. I think it's a great call. I tell everybody, when you come to the broker world, there's so much going on. It'll take, you'll be able to operate immediately.
Absolutely.
But to really have it dialed and hit your stride, it's probably a good 6-month learning curve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then once you hit it though, that light bulb goes off and you're off and running and feeling great about everything.
Yep. Going from the direct lender world to the broker world, what was the number one thing you realized right away? Like, oh, this is going to work really well for me.
Rates.
Yeah. Okay. So
I can't tell you how many times I'm sitting there at previous companies and you get the phone call, Greg, we really love you.
Yep.
But we found a lower rate.
Yeah.
Right. Or you have a realtor you have a relationship with who after the third time says, Greg, my clients keep finding lower rates elsewhere.
Yep.
So not only are you losing the order, the deal, you're losing the realtor.
Yeah. There's only so many times a realtor is going to refer you and then you continuously being beat out by rate. Like they're going to know that, they're going to hear that, and they're going to stop referring because it makes them look bad.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Think of the flip side. When they bring you a client, when you're a broker and you save their client money, it gets them a referral from their client
100%
as well, right? So the effect on the positive is just so much greater as well. So you can close on time. Everybody can say that.
Yep.
You can say, 24/7 service. Anybody can say that.
Yep.
But people want the lowest rate.
They do. They want the lowest rate. They want the lowest payment, 100%. Cool. And that's actually a great segue. So many times people say, oh, you go with the direct lender because they can do a loan in 10 days. I always hear that one, the 10-day close. Couple things. Number one, how many times have you had to close in 10 days?
Yeah, never.
Never. Me either. And number two, if you have a clean file, clean in, clean out, obviously, right? Do you feel in the broker world you wouldn't have any problems closing in 12 days?
No, as long as there's not an HOA involved.
Yeah.
If you have a clean file, you get the disclosures out the same day, you get the appraisal ordered the same day. You should be able to close in 12 days.
Yeah, absolutely. I've done many 15-day files. But usually those are pretty rare and in between as well.
Yeah, I mean, 15, 17 days, people like to hear it. And then I'm like, well, how long does the seller need to be in their house? 30. Well, okay, then I guess it's a 30-day escrow.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? So
cool. Let's talk about processing. Obviously, that's another big hiccup, another thing you hear from the direct lending side, like, oh, once you have, you don't have in-house underwriting, you don't know who your processors are going to be, et cetera. What's been your experience with processing on the broker side?
On the direct lender side, they did have multiple processors, but then again, that means you don't know which processor you were going to get.
Yeah.
And like anywhere, some are better than others.
Yeah.
Right? So here in the broker world, where you have less processors,
yeah.
you know who they are, you know your file's going to get done properly, and there's not a question on the quality of the processor.
Right.
Matter of fact, they might even be better.
Right. Were there any other fears of why you wouldn't want to come over to the broker side? If you could think back to when you were a direct lender and going through that process, because you and I sat down and talked multiple times, any other fears other than support?
Probably the one fear, maybe even more important than the support, is you need to have a real estate license.
Yeah.
To come to the broker world.
Yeah.
So I didn't have a real estate license.
Yep.
That means I had to pass a test to become into the broker world. Right. And you could say that's easy.
Yeah.
You could say it's not.
Right.
Who knows? Maybe you could be the smartest man in the world and not be a good test taker. You don't know. Right.
Totally.
So you do have to take that real estate test.
Yep.
And yes, I think you should pass. I passed the first time. I'm sure most people do. I know a lot of people it takes more than one time.
Yep.
But eventually you should get it done.
Yeah.
But that'd be the biggest fear is that you need to have that real estate license to work in the broker world.
Yeah. And I think it's a badge of honor. It really is. It's one more thing to put on there. And I really think that anybody that's in the broker space should eventually strive towards getting their broker's license. Even if they don't do anything for it, it's just, hey, I got my broker's license. It's just one more little thing, a feather in the cap, a badge of honor, so to speak, that you could actually go and get that.
And not only have it, but what if you have a family member that wants to sell a house, or you want to help them out somehow, and on that aspect of the transaction, then you have it.
Yep, 100%.
So
agreed. Have you found any limitations for being a broker versus it might have been better as a direct lender?
Not one.
Yeah.
Direct lenders don't have as many programs as we have in the broker world.
Yeah.
So I would say there's probably 25, maybe 50% loans I've done that I could not have done at a broker or at a direct lender.
A direct lender, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And yes, they do have some out-of-the-box banks they can go to.
Right.
But it's not the norm. It's not something they do every day.
No.
And they're just not good at it.
No.
So the guys that we go to in the wholesale side on the non-QM, they do that stuff every day, all day long.
Yeah. A lot of them, that's all they do.
Right.
Right.
And I'm at the point now where after you do quite a few, you pretty much almost become your own underwriter.
Yep.
So by the time you even call your AE, you already dialed it in.
Yeah.
So negativity at staying at a direct lender is that you will do less out-of-the-box loans.
Yeah. Every platform. Doesn't matter if you're credit union, big box bank, direct lender, broker, you're always going to lose a couple loans due to rate, right? There's always some internet shopper out there, and you're not going to beat the guy in Ohio, who's just making basically nothing on a file.
Right.
How often right now are you losing because of rate? And can you expand on that with how you can control your pricing to make sure you don't lose due to rate?
Like you said, you can't compete with some internet guy that may or may not close a loan.
Yeah.
Right.
Or like a private banker on Jumbo.
Right. Or may not have some hidden fees that you don't figure out till later.
Right.
Because I've had clients call me back on that.
Happens often.
Right. So, but those guys are out there, and they're not making anything on the file. So I do not lose very often. I would say over a year span, maybe one or two.
Yeah.
And in a lot of those cases, it's because maybe I'm not taking the risk of going broker paid or borrower paid,
right,
and being affected by maybe some seller concessions that eat up that fee for free.
Yeah.
So so there's a couple I've actually probably walked away from versus just lost.
Right.
Not sure if that's good or bad, but I did.
Yeah. And I guess it depends on what's going on too. If you've got a whole bunch of refis going on, your pipeline's full, it might be a little easier to walk away from a deal versus skinning it down and doing it for one point.
Right.
Right. Could you ever see yourself going back to the direct lending world for any reason?
No.
Okay.
No, it's just I can't, and I can't be honest with you. I can't imagine leaving PGS.
There we go. It's even better answer.
And I've been getting recruiting calls.
Yeah, 100%.
And I don't even return them. PGS is where I'll retire, and whether you want me or not. But yeah, no, I can never imagine going back into the direct lending world.
Going from a W-2 employee, right, to 1099 and then having your corporation paid. How much do you think you saved on taxes doing the same volume if both things were equal? You do 50 loans as a direct lender, 50 loans as a broker, same volume. What would you estimate you save in just taxes alone?
So that's a really good question and a really good topic, because I think most people, including myself, when I made the switch, didn't even think about it.
Yeah.
But the taxes you pay as a W-2 employee are much greater than self-employed, and even better versus 1099 is just creating an S corp.
Yep.
Right. You create an S corp, you're writing off everything pretty much.
Yep.
We won't get into defined benefits, but there's other savings plans greater than a 401k.
Far greater.
Where you could save, instead of the max being roughly 30 grand, it could be unlimited amount.
Yep.
Almost. You will definitely make more income.
Yeah.
Working for a broker with the same amount of income coming in.
Yeah. And I think to add to that too, would you also say that you'll make more per loan, and yet your client will still get a better loan than what you could offer?
Absolutely. You'll make more per loan. Also in the direct lending world, at least a couple of places that I was at previously, capped you on what you can make.
When I remember hearing that for the first time, I'm like, what?
Yeah.
They cap your commission?
Yeah.
That part blew me away.
So you're quoting a higher rate and getting capped.
Yeah.
Double whammy. So so the broker world, one, you'll make more per loan, and you'll make more based off the way you pay your taxes.
Yeah. It's actually the trifecta. Worse rates, W-2'd, and then you get capped.
Right.
That's not a good combo.
That's why we're here talking.
Exactly. A big buzzword right now is technology. Do you feel like, coming from the direct lending world and remembering back to those platforms to where we are in the broker world, do you feel like you're lacking in technology for any reason at all?
Not at all.
Yeah.
I don't feel that at all. Matter of fact, by the time I came to the broker world 5 years ago, the broker world 10 or 15 years ago was known for not having technology, and you couldn't close in 30 days and all the knocks on being a broker.
Yep.
Well, I've been in the broker world 5 years now, but I've never experienced any of that.
Yeah.
So if anything, it's only getting better. And with all the AI technology out there now, going back to the support level, well, now I could just ask AI, at least get a starting point.
Yeah, 100%.
Or just confirm maybe something I think I already know.
Yep.
Right? Before you even have to call anybody or go down an AE path or whatever.
Yeah.
So, but no, technology-wise, there's no advantage that I see at a direct lender at all.
Yeah. The AI part is really interesting to me as far as like income calculations, just shoving your tax returns and W-2 forms in there and it spits out what it's going to be. And then it comes through verified, which is bonkers. And then also just general guidelines, typing in a guideline, asking the question multiple different ways and getting an exact answer. And you'll go and you'll reference it with a couple different account executives and they just confirm, yep, that's exactly what it is. Right. That part to me over the last several months has just been amazing. Yeah, it's a time saver for sure. Absolutely. For sure. You know, and I could be on the phone with the client or a realtor and they're asking me a question. I'll just type it in softly so they can't hear me. And answer it right there on the spot. Absolutely. Agreed. 100%. Along that same line, has there been a lack of training? Do you feel like, man, I wish I was getting more training as a broker? Or do you think you're being bombarded on a constant basis with training opportunities? I don't think we're undertrained. Yeah. Yes, we get bombarded with emails, but I got to tell you, I save those emails. Yep. It could be I just received a DSCR email today. 100%. I have a whole folder of 15 different manufacturers that do DSCR. Yep. Well, guess what? They're different. Yeah. One has a minimum FICO of 620. One of them has a minimum of 720. Yeah. One of them has a minimum of LTV. Another one's a higher LTV. Yep. So to know, you need that training because every lender's guidelines are a little bit different. Yeah. So I appreciate the emails that I do get on that. Yep. And as far as training and coming in and meeting with lenders and all that, it's sufficient for sure. 100%. And what's crazy about guidelines, because you talked about, you were mentioning DSCR, and I know you're talking about all loans, but what I always thought was so fascinating is how you could have a Fannie Freddie loan. You could have a Govy loan. Yep. And all of a sudden, you have this one question, this one guideline. You ask 10 different lenders. 7 of them say, nope, sorry, can't be done. And then you have 2 or 3. They're like, oh no, we interpret those guidelines differently.
Right.
We can do that.
Right.
And I tell you how many countless loans I've been able to do when I was told no by a whole handful of lenders, and then, yep, we got it. Let's go. How about to be determined files? Have you had any issues getting your files pre-underwritten? Any issues getting your income calculated on difficult files? Anything like that?
No, we've got a handful of lenders that we could throw TBDs in.
Yep.
But I will say with the technology that we're getting with AI and everything else now,
Yeah.
I've been doing a lot less TBDs because we've been able to figure them out on our own.
Yeah,
Right.
which is pretty cool.
So
especially on a weekend.
faster than I'm sending them into a TBD.
Yep, absolutely. But it is nice to be able to get that stamp,
For sure.
that underwritten approval
Absolutely.
on those files. What would you say to anyone coming from a credit union, big box bank, direct lender, and they're thinking about coming over to the broker side? What would you say to them? How would you encourage them to make that plunge or to take that plunge?
You're doing a better you're doing a better support to your realtor and to your clients.
Yep.
You're giving a better rate.
Yep.
Right. You're really truly 24/7, because if you work at a credit union or a bank, you're not 24/7. Yeah, maybe you might pick up your phone,
Right.
but you're not calling anybody at the bank on Saturday afternoon.
Right.
Where on Saturday afternoon you can still work and you can still get to AEs on the wholesale side.
Yeah.
At least in my past experience. So that you will close more loans because you'll do some outside the box loans that you weren't able to do previously.
Yep.
You'll make more money because you'll be self-employed versus W-2 employed.
Yep.
And I think not that, our freedom depends on when our phone rings, but freedom as well.
Yeah.
Right. So there's no case that could be told to me where it'd make more sense to be at a direct lender or a credit union or box bank.
Yeah. 100%.
There's just not one.
And I think one last thing to add to that too, we operate as a family. If you go out on vacation and you go to Greece for 2 weeks and you need us to watch your pipeline, we're always going to have your back. And
Absolutely.
there's always going to be someone to watch your pipeline.
Right.
Yeah.
And this is a small family, so it's truly being watched.
Yeah.
Not at some huge corporation.
100%.
So
Cool. Thank you. Greg
You're
Chigas,
welcome.
everybody.
Thank you.
Ow.
Love PGS.
There we go.